What's up and welcome. Today we're doing 5 ways to spice up your rock fakie game, so let's get straight to the mini ramp. Alright, so we all know the rock fakie. Basically what you do is you put your front wheels over the coping, you rock on the coping like a seesaw, and then you pull it back in. This video I'm going to show you 5 ways to spice that up and do it a bit differently, so let's get straight into that. So the first one is as simple as it gets really. It's called the double rock, and it really is just exactly what you saw there, but do it twice. For this one, when you come up, you put your front wheels over just like you normally would, put a bit of weight on the front so it rocks like a seesaw like I just said, but this time as soon as them back wheels come back over, you go for one more and you push it again. This is going to take a little bit of a while to get used to. You can kind of practice it on the ramp, but it's way easier if you have the coping to rock you back and forth. So you can give it just triple tap on the ramp and that should help you get used to the rapid fire, doing stuff like that. And then when you're ready to take it up to the coping, the further you go up, the easier it's going to be. And the more emphasis you put onto the front foot when you reach the coping, the easier it's going to be to bounce it back and forth for the second one. This is a really simple one and it's actually way easier than it looks, so just give it a try and you'll see what I mean in no time. Alright, so the next variation is we're just going to steeze out that front foot a bit, and for this one you kind of put your heels out and point your toes outwards of your front foot. Now this one is less of an actual different trick, it's more of a just spicier rock fakie. So what you want to do is when you go over the coping, you put your front foot over like this and then it points up like that. So you have just your heel of the front foot on the board, and then as you bring it back in, you slowly turn it back to its normal position. To practice this one on the ramp, you could just do the foot position. So stick that heel up and then bring it back down like that. There's not a lot else to really practice this one. If anything, it's actually a bit sketchier doing it lower down the ramp. So if you think you're ready to take this onto the coping, do that, because it's going to be the safest and easiest way to learn it. So for number 3, we're going to add a body varial. The key to this one is that when you put your front wheels over the coping, that front leg that you've used to put the weight onto the coping, use that to jump off of and switch your body around. So if you go up normal, and instead of coming back down fakie, we're switching our body around to come back down facing forwards again. The nature of most of these rock fakie tricks is they are really simple in concept. It's just about having the knowledge to know how to put it together properly. I find this one, the easier the further up you go, because then you've got more time to think about whether or not you're going to go in and prepare your balance. So just lean them front wheels all the way over, almost as much as the back wheels actually touch the coping when they come up, and then switch your body around by doing a little jump and then roll back in normally. Now the key to making sure you don't hang up on the way back in is that when you switch your body stance around, we're then just going to lean our front weight onto this nose, and that's going to lift the back wheels over nicely and roll back in. Bear in mind, you don't actually have to do this. If you put enough weight on the front without lifting up, the wheels will just roll over the coping. But if you don't want any risk of getting hung up at all, put that weight on the front foot and you'll glide over like a nice rhubarb. So for this one, number 4, the half cab rock, we're going to turn into it first, right? So you ride up backwards, turn your shoulders first, and the hips will follow. We call this the half cab rock. And you can really break this one down quite easily actually. Just turn around into it, and then ride down fakie. And if you want to get used to bringing the wheels back over the coping as well, after you've turned around, just lift them back up as if there was an imaginary coping there. Now a great way to practice these kind of tricks is if you really want to get down and dirty and get it incrementally increased, what you want to do is get yourself a little stone and just make a mark on the ramp, nothing permanent, just a little line like chalk line, and use that as your imaginary coping and just slowly work your way up, moving the line up a bit further each time. Doing that helps you break it down so much easier. The final one is kind of more of a party trick, less than an actual trick. And that is when you put the front wheels over, just give it a little bit of a shake on the coping just to show that you've got the balance. The rock and wiggle. This one's great for training your actual balance on the coping. So for this one, when you come up, put the front wheels over, obviously, and then you just move that weight slightly, keep yourself balanced on the coping like this, like on the rock and seesaw motion like we talked about earlier in the video, and then just use that body weight to move it like this. It's only going to work if you have the board balanced so that neither wheel is touching the sides. So that if you go up and you've got your wheels on this side or you've got your wheels on this side, it's just not going to work. So make sure you lock into that balance point, give it the wiggle and pull it back in. There's not a lot else you can show for this one. Obviously I can't practice it on the actual ramp and not the coping because you need the coping to make it work. Either way, it's a nice way to jazz up the runs with something a little different.